camera's focusing. What's up, guys? I'm Keith Kalfas, and
I'm Coach Carroll.
Yeah, this is Coach Carroll, and this is part 3 of the 3-part video interview series that he's talking about, how to grow a 7-figure business and this changing your worldview and letting go so you can hire and delegate to other people.
7, 8, 9, 10-figure business. It's all universal knowledge that you have to know. That's like taking out the middle of the encyclopedia. It's not going to be an encyclopedia anymore. Mm-hmm. So these are the things that I've just learned over the past decade. And listen, there's still things I don't know, right? Like that's really, we didn't even talk about that in the interview. I'll give it to you now. You have to remain a student. You have to stay learning or you're done, man. The moment you think you've got it all figured out, you start your decline. So yeah, but you're here. So hit the subscribe button for this guy, by the way.
Yeah, and check out Coach Carroll too. I'll put links in the description below for his podcast and his YouTube channel, Instagram, all of that. And you got to follow him. He just really is a great trusted advisor to me as well. And make sure if you haven't seen the other videos, the other parts of the interview, you have to go back and watch them. I'll put links in the description below so it'll make sense. And then also the podcast, Untrapped Podcast. KeithKalfas.com / what's your podcast?
The Sales Factory. But most importantly, this is like the last part. So I want you to leave a comment below. I want to know what your biggest takeaway is out of all 3 parts. So If you haven't watched the other 2, go back and get them as well because they're fire. We literally could charge thousands of dollars for this 3-part series because I've invested thousands of dollars to be where I'm at. Tens of thousands. Keith's the same way. But I want to know what was your biggest takeaway and what's a question that we didn't answer? That way we know in the next video series that we do, we'll have some fodder to be able to chew on a little bit.
I love it. And with that being said, enjoy the interview.
Take care, guys.
All right, man. So to expand a small business to the point where it becomes a cash cow, systematized, then you can start taking money and funneling it into investments where your money makes money for you, where you can afford to hire people legitimately and start to delegate. See, one of the things that stops small business owners or self-employed guys from getting to the next level is man-hour rate, profit margins, enough profit margin to be able to hire the right people and to start to delegate without the fear of, oh my God, this is going to make me broke. So you're not running around trying to do everything yourself, because when the money's coming in, you just peel it off and start hiring people and delegating. So what does that look like? Things you start saying no to or raising prices on or get rid of altogether? What did you have to do in your journey to start making those necessary changes so you could say, hey, this makes me money, this will allow me to do this, but this doesn't. And this has got to go or it's got to change. What talk about that? Make sense?
Yeah. So I've got 2 schools of thought on that. One, that's why it's so important to learn how to sell. Because if you can sell, make transactions, make people do things.
Which you have a program called Sales Excellence University.
Sales Excellence University.
What is it?
SalesExcellenceUniversity.org. And literally, you and I talked about this. I changed the title. I literally said
that plug-in.
It's the number 1 program online to become excellent at selling. Because it's me. It's all me. I tell you exactly what I did to grow my landscaping business. And the majority of it's phone calls. Like, just pounding on the phone. Here's where most people screw up. Is they come up with all these reasons of why they can't grow, they can't expand, but they don't take enough action on the sales side. They think that their job is to do the work. Your job, number 1 job, is to get the work. And to get the work at profitable prices. Because a lot of people it's easy to get work if you're the lowest guy or if you're doing it cheap. But you have to have profit. And the other thing is, like, start with the end in mind. What do you want to do? Like, yeah, I want to go save the world, make a dent in the universe, name for 200 years. But that's not for everybody, and I know that. That's not lost on me. A lot of people are like, bro, I just don't want my family to want for anything. I want I want to take care of my kids. I want to be comfortable, yada, yada, yada. That's fine if that's what makes you happy. You have to start with whatever makes you happy. So you don't have to grow this ginormous business if you don't want to do that. But I think it goes back to, like Napoleon Hill talked about in Think and Grow Rich, rendering personal service. and valuing yourself at a high enough level. I'm pitching a client tomorrow, it's $20,000, and it's just strictly for our retainer for my consulting fee, because he has a really good business, but he's struggling with like that online digital advertising stuff, and I know I can help him. I'm not gonna fucking help him for free. It's like, this sounds awful, but like, if he goes out of business, it doesn't affect me. And I know it sounds ruthless, but like that's just the way you have to look at it, because you only have so many hours in a day. So when you're talking about like the small business, is like, you got to figure out, do you just want to be small? Because I think a lot of people beat themselves up because they're okay with being a small business, but then they like constantly measure themselves against a medium or a big business and beat themselves over the head over and over and over again, but they're just doing the actions and activities to stay a small business. And then the other school of thought on that is leveraging debt. Use other people's money. You know, like if you can't go out and make enough sales in the beginning to get it rolling.
Hey, real quick, what are the things is the thought could be, hey, if I'm already overwhelmed dealing with just this, how in the heck am I going to deal with doing all that without destroying my personal life or XYZ? And if people think that, I've thought that before, how am I going to deal with, like, I'm already stretched to maximum capacity, I don't want to take on anymore because it's the pain pleasure principle. If that's going to be way too painful and eventually there will be a collapse, I'll burn out if I take on all that. So, but
if you have people, you leverage them, you put that burden on them.
Yeah.
It's not like it comes more, like my assistant needs me to give her more things.
Yes.
Like she's literally like, give me more shit to do. Like I have a hard time unloading and offloading that stuff.
Dude, you
right?
know what my buddy Eric said, Eric Reno?
Yeah, I love Eric.
He said, put the turd on another man's plate. And if you actually like just get, I know that sounds bad or funny or weird or selfish or whatever you want to call it. If you literally just actually think about that, like you got this thing on your plate, it's kind of stressful because it needs to be done as far as like your time is pressed. So it creates that. How can I put that on someone else's plate?
So look at it this way, right? When you say a turd, yeah. Well, what's a turd, right? Let's look at it this way. Trash, and one man's trash is another man's treasure. So I know that if it may be trash to me, gumping me up inside, blah, 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 but if I give it to my assistant, now she has something that she can be excellent at doing, which is one of our new core values. She can be excellent at it, which then allows her to like prove to me like, damn, she's really, really good. I'm gonna give her more money now because it made my life better, and now I'm making her life better. So it's the perspective that like you just gotta have of this person in your business can probably do the job way better than you can. Why not give it to him? Like, why hold it? Why keep it back? Like, I don't know.
See, I'm yawning. It's because I'm integrating me just talking to you right now. Like, yes, confirmation. This is the...
Or I'm just pouring your shit out.
In my business, I'm down to doing 10% of the physical work, and the rest is drumming up work. And now delegating most of the all the inbound phone calls to a calling center, which is that's awesome. And then having a secretary deal with the paperwork and the invoices and the management of following up to that.
Absolutely.
And then delegating all the physical work, most of it, to my guys in the field. And still, now I need to get completely out of the field and put people in place. And the only thing that's stopping that is the man-hour rate, and then my fear of putting other people behind on my insurance policy to drive my trucks and vehicles.
Let's talk about.
I need to just cut the.
Let's talk about man-hour rate, because I literally just had this conversation with the guy that's over all my window cleaning stuff the other day, and he was like, "What's that mean?" And I was like, "What'd you bill out? Like, what was your hour?" Because for window cleaning, we got to hit 50 an hour. That's my minimum, right? And he was like, "Oh, you mean like," and he gave me some formula. I was like, "No, that's not it at all." So I think it's important that people understand your man-hour rate is literally how much did you bill out for the hour, and how many men were working in that hour, right? So like if it's $100 and you had 2 people on site for an hour, that's $50 per man hour.
Yes.
And you have to know how to track that. There's certain metrics that you have to know how to, and that's another thing. I think a lot of guys don't grow just because they don't know how to look at their fucking numbers. You're not taught, like, there's no handbook on how to be in business. Like, they don't, unless you want to go to college, but 9 times out of 10, if you're going to go to college and learn business, you're going to work somewhere.
You know, I really think the minute you decide, I'm not doing that anymore, somebody else, I'm hiring or having somebody else do that, and the responsibility gets filled, it literally just comes down to a decision.
That's it. And then not retreating from that decision.
Yeah.
Because things are going to happen, yeah. Right? Like
in my business, when every time there's a fire, I keep jumping in to put out the fire.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm a fireman.
Yeah, you're like, damn knucklehead, I'll just do it. You're get out of here, right? Like I'll take it back because I can do it better than you can do it.
Yeah.
But the thing is, someone else doing it at 80% is better than you doing it at 100.
Yeah. And another thing I've learned is we've got hired a bunch of virtual assistants now and a project manager going.
So
and my wife is doing the project management, which is really cool. I want in the internet business and also with all the social media, which is really cool. And even now, it's interesting to watch my growth. And my wife will say, "Well, I could just do that thing on Instagram," and I'll be like, "No. We have to hire somebody to curate the Instagram content." Yeah, but it's going to be $15 or $20 an hour, but. I think we really don't have a good perception of how many hours you have a day. Well, I'll do that. Well, if you keep saying I'll do that or I'll get to that, and 6 months goes by, how come it isn't done? Well, look at what have you been doing all that time? Like the day's gone like that.
Yeah.
So,
talked about that at Marketing ROI. I said your job as the entrepreneur, or the guy, the thought leader, the CEO, is literally to cast the vision, delegate the task, and now. I'm realizing there's also another one that comes on with that is steer company culture.
Talk about that, steer company culture.
Steer company culture.
Let's just say a guy's got one guy working for him.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's the best time to build a company culture. Because you got to realize now I've got however many people we've got, I have to re-indoctrinate their entire thinking. Because it's like, whoa, DJ just came in on a Monday and shit's completely switching. What's these company values he's talking about? These core values and the mission statement. But I have to retrain people. Versus if it's you in the beginning, your core values is what's important to you. So I'll share ours. So I made up the acronym GIVE, G-I-V-E. So it's growth, integrity, velocity, and excellence. And so what happens, and I've recently just learned this, is
growth, integrity,
velocity, excellence.
Okay, so the core values, this would be the new segment.
Yeah.
So, what are the core values of your company now?
Yes. So our new core values, because we didn't have any, are growth, integrity, velocity, and excellence. So growth, people are happy. Happiness comes from becoming more than you are, right? So people are happy when they get to grow. And so for me, it's I can keep people happy in my company if the company stays growing and they stay growing. Integrity, your word is the strongest bond you have with another human being. Velocity is speed in the right direction. Because speed is just the time it takes between 2 points. Well, fuck, you might be going really, really fast, but if you're going in the wrong direction, it's not going to work out too well. So that's why I didn't choose speed. I chose velocity because velocity is speed in a given direction. So we say speed in the right direction. Which means, and I'll break this down after I get long. So then excellence is never settling for less than your best. So the way that you hire, fire, and manage by these is if, say we have a person that's not doing what I set them out to do, I can take them over to our wall of core values in this new office and say, hey, Keith, man, I really needed you to be making these 75 calls a day, right? Because we did the math, and if you do 75 calls a day, at the end of the year, this is where you're going to be at, right? And so for me, I don't really feel like you're going in the right direction here. Remember when we talked about velocity, it's about going fast in the right direction. Now, maybe it's my fault. Maybe I didn't set you on the right course. Or maybe it's your fault that you're not following that course. What's going on here? That's a whole different conversation than setting a guy down and going, you fucking loser, why aren't you making 75 calls a day? Which is 1950s management. This shit doesn't work anymore. And everybody wants to go, oh, that's because the millennials, they're all touchy-feely. No.
Instead of it being you're pointing back to company standards, core values, policies.
It's not even policies, it's the values. It's what matters to us inside. And everyone in the business signed up and said, we're down with these 4 core values. You said that you were down with the 4 core values when we hired you. What's changed? Right now, it's not about me and you, and I don't like you or you don't like me. It's you're letting us and a team down because you're not living up to the same values that we hold ourselves to. See how that changes shit, dude?
Beautiful.
Yeah, man.
Dude. Oh, wait.
You just went. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Game changer, man.
You can have values for your own life, for yourself.
You hold yourself to those standards.
Standards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're a one-man show and it's like, fuck it, I'm gonna sleep in today, are you being excellent? Are you holding yourself to excellence? Doing the best you possibly can? No, you're not. You're being fucking lazy.
Yeah, I love it. Okay. Last thing I want to talk about. Burnout and breakdowns and pressing the reset and getting back up on the horse. Talk about that.
Talk about me calling you and crying and shit. Burnout happens when, this is my opinion, I think you get burnt out when where you're at and where you want to go in the time that it's taking you to get there is slower than what's actually happening.
And what you expected and hoped for
Yeah.
when your reality isn't meeting your expectations.
Like, I want a jet. Like, okay, show me a fucking other guy that's 31 years old that doesn't have rich family or a trust fund that's got a jet. It doesn't happen, right? So like, while I know that, I have to push that off and know that that's not going to really probably even happen until my 40s.
Hey, I was on the phone with him about a week ago. This dude's like, he was upset because he hasn't manifested a jet into his life yet. And it wasn't in some type of weird, vain, egotistical way. It was like he's serious.